Hello everyone, I am Qazi Faruddin. Extend a very warm welcome to all of you for this course. So, in today's lecture, we are going to dive into the very fascinating word of mineral nutrition in plants. Now, what are the aspects we are likely to cover in today's lecture? What are the mineral nutrients? Then, what are the different criteria that must be adhered to consider an element to be essential? Then what are the different criteria adopted for classification of essential mineral nutrients? Then different criteria, different classification will be discussed in detail. So what is mineral nutrition is in plants? So once you see that after being absorbed from the roots, the mineral elements are translocated to different parts of the plants and they serve in numerous biological functions. So the study how plants obtain and use mineral nutrients is known as mineral nutrition. So basically plants derive essential nutrients from the three main sources: air, water and soil. Non-mineral elements such as carbon, oxygen and hydrogen are obtained from the air. These elements are basically very crucial for photosynthesis and other metabolic processes within the plant, just we have gone through in our previous lectures. The mineral elements are basically derived from the soil in inorganic form. These minerals are absorbed by roots and due to their large surface area and their ability to absorb inorganic ions at low concentration from soil solution, generally its effectivity increases, uh, effectivity of mineral acquisition increases by the plants due to large surface area, and once these essential mineral elements are absorbed by the roots, they are further translocated to various parts of the plant where they serve as a diverse biological functions. These functions include enzyme cofactors, structural components you might be aware, and in addition to this, regulators of various metabolic processes. So the acquisition and distribution of mineral nutrients are very crucial process that sustain the health and vitality of the plants. So in addition to roots, other organisms such as mycorrhizal fungi and nitrogen fixing bacteria often play very crucial roles in the acquisition of mineral nutrients by plants. These symbiotic relationships basically enhance nutrient uptake efficiency and contribute to overall health and productivity of the plant. So, to study how plants obtain and utilize mineral nutrients is uh, known as mineral nutrition. So, basically this field of research is very crucial for improving modern agriculture practices and environmental protections. In addition to this, this study helps in understanding the complex ecological interactions of plant within natural ecosystem. So, the application of mineral nutrients primarily through fertilization is very crucial for achieving high agricultural yields. Indeed, the yields of most of the crop plants show a linear increase with the amount of fertilizer they absorb. Basically, due to this, the importance of proper nutrient management in maximizing crop productivity is very crucial. So, at present, to meet the growing demand for food, the annual world consumption of mineral nutrient used in fertilizer, especially nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, has increased and you see that from 30 million metric tons in 1990, in 1960, it increased to 143 metric ton in 1990. And in recent years, this annual consumption of mineral nutrients has further scaled, reaching to 180 million metric tons. So, this trend underscores the significance of nutrient supplementation in modern agriculture to further sustain the global food production. Now you see that half of the energy used in agriculture is generally devoted to production, distribution, and application of nitrogen fertilizers. In addition to this, the production of phosphorus fertilizer is likely to reach its peak during this century. However, despite the substantial investment in fertilizers, crop plants utilize less than half of the nutrients applied to the soil around them. So, utilization efficiency is at present at how much? Only 50%. So, what what would be the fate of the rest of the mineral which is not taken up by the plants? So, the excess minerals from the fertilizer can have very detrimental effects, as they may leach into the surface water or groundwater, or adhere to soil particles, or contribute to air pollution and climate change. However, generally plants offer a beacon of hope and serve as a traditional means of recycling and removing these deleterious materials from the environment, owing to the complex relationship between the plant, science, and the atmosphere. So, the study of basically mineral nutrition is a multidisciplinary field involving various experts of plant sciences like atmospheric chemist, soil scientist, uh, microbiologist, ecologist, and plant physiologist. All these experts contribute to further understanding the intricate processes that are involved in nutrient uptake and utilization by plants. So, we can say that the collaborative efforts are basically required for developing sustainable agricultural practices and mitigating the environmental impacts associated with nutrient mineral nutrient management. Now, you see that what are the basic criteria that must be adhered for an element to be classified as essential mineral elements. So, only few elements have been determined to be essential for the plant growth. The basic concept of essentiality of mineral nutrient was proposed by Arnan and Stout in the year 1939. So, basically they identified 16 elements as essential for plant nutrition, and so for an element to be considered an essential nutrient, it must meet a specific criteria. So, what are these criteria? Number one, deficiency of an essential element must prevent the completion of the life cycle of the plants and result in deficiency symptom. So, plant will not be able to complete its life cycle in the absence of a particular element. Next criteria is that essential elements cannot be substituted by another element with similar properties, and the essential element plays direct roles in plant metabolism. In the absence of essential elements, plants are unable to uh, produce viable seeds. So, you see that uh, another criteria is essential elements should also be component of essential plant metabolite, like magnesium is a constituent of chlorophyll molecules. So, these criterion set by Annan and Stout is a very specific criterion set almost 80 years back that must be adhered to classify an element to be essential. Now, how these essential mineral elements are classified? So, the first criteria of classification of essential mineral elements is on the basis of relative concentration in the plant tissues. So, uh, on the basis of relative concentration in plant tissues, all the essential mineral nutrients could be classified into two categories. One is macronutrients, another one is micronutrients. You might be aware. So, what are now question arise, what are these macronutrients? Macronutrients, they are also known as macroelements, are the mineral elements required by the plants in large quantities, and they are typically found in plant tissue in concentration ranging from 0.2 to 4% on dry mass basis. So, you see that their concentration is high, and then these macronutrients, they are further categorized into two types: primary macronutrients, which consist of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and secondary macronutrients, which include calcium, sulfur, magnesium and silicon. Basically, potassium, calcium and magnesium are generally grouped together as they are predominantly present as cation. Likewise, nitrogen, potassium and sulfur, they are grouped together because they are primarily present as anions like nitrate, sulfate and phosphate. Now, moving onward, the next category is micronutrients. You see, they are also referred to as microelements, and these are the mineral nutrients. They are found in the plant tissue in smaller quantities, typically measured in ppm, ranging from 5 to 200 ppm, or less than 0.2% of the dry mass. These micronutrients are minerals include boron, chlorine, manganese, iron, zinc, copper, molybdenum, sodium and nickel. And these microelements, they exist in various forms including inorganic ions, oxyanions, or undissociated molecules of boron, as well as in as well as in organic compounds complex known as chelates. So, you see this table shows the classification of mineral elements based on their concentration, and basically the tissue levels of essential elements required by most plants are mentioned in ppm in this table. You just go the required mineral nutrient in plant, or you can say their concentration present in the plant tissue. Now, you see that what happens in certain specific cases, the differences in the tissue concentration between macro and micronutrients may not be very significant, as we have seen our just previous table. For example, the mesophyll in leaves of in the mesophyll cells, uh, that contains almost as much as iron or manganese, that contains these the leaves of the mesophyll tissues of the leaves of the plant contain uh, iron or manganese just almost equal to sulfur or magnesium. So, you see that these elements, these microelements are frequently found in higher quantities what than the micronutrients. So, some of the researchers generally argued that a classification based on the concentration, that is macronutrients and micronutrients, is difficult to justify physiologically. So, uh, scientists namely Konrad Mengele and Ernest Kirkby in the year 2001 classified essential elements on the basis of their physiological and biochemical roles. So, in this table you see that the classification of plant nutrients uh, could be categorized into four different major groups based on their physiological roles and biochemical functions. So, you see that in group 1 there are only two nutrients, essential nutrients, nitrogen and sulfur. So, these nutrients are basically they are the integral components of carbon compounds like nitrogen, which plays a very crucial role as a constituent in various organic molecules. And nitrogen also serves as a very fundamental components of amino acids, amides, protein, nucleic acids, nucleotides and coenzymes. It is also present as hexamines and other essential biochemical compounds. And you see in the table another element present in the group first is sulfur, which is also a very crucial element in carbon containing compounds, and it serves as a constituent of cysteine and methionine. It's a very important point to remember here, which are essential amino acids. Moreover, you see that sulfur is also involved in the structure of lipoic acid, coenzyme A, thymine pyrophosphate, glutathione, biotin, 5-adenyl sulfate and 3-phosphoadenosine. So, you see that both nitrogen and sulfur contribute significantly to the composition and functionality of numerous carbon based compounds essential for carrying out various biological functions. Now, we see in the second group there are three essential mineral elements, namely phosphorus, silicon and boron, and these are second group of elements. They are essential elements and play a very crucial role in the energy storage or structural integrity within the biological systems. Like you see, phosphorus is very important molecule involved in energy storage and structural support in the plant cell. It is present, you see that in the sugars, phosphate, nucleic acids, nucleotides, coenzymes, phospholipids and phytic acid. In addition to this, phosphorus plays a key role in reactions that involve ATP, that is the primary energy currency in the cells. Another element present in the second group is silicon, and this silicon is basically deposited as amorphous silica within cell walls. This element contributes significantly to the mechanical properties of cell walls, enhancing rigidity and elasticity. That is also very important. Hence, the presence of, you see, the silicon is very crucial for maintaining the structural integrity of the cells and tissues. The third element present in the second group is group 2 is boron, and basically boron complexes with various compounds such as mannitol, mannan and polymanuric acid, which are constituents of cell wall. And in addition to this, boron is involved in processes related to cell elongation and nucleic acid metabolism. It is present, its presence, the presence of boron is very much essential for the proper cell growth and development, as well as maintaining the structural integrity of the cell walls. Now, group third nutrients generally contains potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, zinc and sodium, and these group 3 element nutrients, they are involved uh, and they are generally in ionic form within the biological system. Like you see that potassium, which the first element in the group third, serves as a cofactor for more than 40 enzymes and principal cation responsible for establishing cell turgor pressure and maintaining cell electroneutrality. And calcium also plays a very crucial role in cell wall structure, which serves as a constituent of middle lamella. It is also required as a cofactor for enzyme involving ATP and phospholipid hydrolysis and acts as a secondary messenger in metabolic regulation. And you see that magnesium is essential for activity of numerous enzymes involved in phosphate transfer, and it is also constituent of chlorophyll molecule we have discussed in while discussing the photosynthesis. Then chlorine. Chlorine is basically necessary for photosynthetic reactions involved in oxygen evolution, contributing to the production of oxygen during photosynthesis. Now, next element present in the group third is zinc, which serves as a constituent of various enzymes including alcohol dehydrogenase, glutamic dehydrogenase and carbonic anhydrase, playing very essential role in metabolic processes. Sodium. Sodium is also involved in cellular processes like other essential mineral elements and plays a key role in the regeneration of phosphoenol pyruvate in C4 and CAM plants, and it can also substitute potassium in some functions. So, in this respect sodium has a very important role. Now, group 4, these essential elements, they are basically play crucial roles in redox reaction within the biological system. Like iron serves as a constituent of cytochromes and non-heme iron proteins involved in vital processes such as photosynthesis, nitrogen fixation and respiration. Manganese is basically required for the activity of various enzymes including dehydrogenases, decarboxylases, kinases, oxidases and peroxidases. And in addition to this, manganese also plays a role in photosynthetic oxygen evolution. Now, next very important uh, element present in the group 4 is copper, which is a component of numerous enzymes involved in reactions including ascorbic acid oxidase, tyronase, tyrone, tyrosinase, monoamine oxidase, uricase, cytochrome oxidase, phenolase, lacase and plastocyanin. So, the presence of copper is very crucial for electron transfer process and maintaining cellular redox balance. So, other element that comes under group 4 is nickel, which is constituent of urease and hydrogenase involved in nitrogen fixing bacteria and playing essential role in metabolism of nitrogen. Next last element that comes in group 4 is molybdenum, which is a constituent of various enzymes such as nitrogenase, nitrate reductase and xanthine dehydrogenase. These enzymes are basically involved in crucial redox reactions including nitrogen fixation and nitrogen metabolism. Now, another way to classify essential mineral elements is on the basis of their mobility. So, some elements they are mobile and some are immobile. So, you see in this slide that on the left side there are number of elements that comes under the category of mobile elements, namely nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, chlorine, sodium, zinc and molybdenum, whereas immobile elements include calcium, sulfur, iron, boron and copper. So, as far as mobile elements are concerned, they are transported by the plant's vascular system, allowing for redistribution from older to younger tissues as required. So, basically this mobility enables plant to prioritize the allocation of nutrients, ensuring the essential functions are maintained even under varying environmental conditions. So, you see that what happens, the deficiency symptoms appear first in older leaves when nutrient reserves are depleted, to support the growth and development of new tissues. Now, in contrast to mobile elements, certain elements exhibit limited mobility within plants. Like you see in the slide, um, this list include boron, iron, calcium, and copper. So once they are absorbed by the roots, these immobile elements they tend to remain localized within the tissue where they are initially taken up. Consequently, deficiency symptoms for immobile elements are typically observed in younger leaves where nutrient uptake occurs as these nutrients are not easily translocated to other parts of the plants. So you see in this aspect immobile elements are very important because their deficiency symptoms will be reflected in younger part. So basically the precise mechanism of nutrient mobilization are not very well defined. Uh, there are different plant growth hormones which could be involved uh, for translocation of these mineral elements like cytokinin. So this table shows basically the relative distribution of various elements in earth crust, and most of the elements just mentioned in different color, uh, like in the periodic table you see a specific color is given for essential mineral elements that could be identified, and then in addition to essential mineral elements they are beneficial elements. So beneficial for some plants but not required by other plants. So on the basis of mobility, initial symptoms, deficiency symptoms could be visually observed. If uh, visual symptoms are initially observed in the older parts, this deficiency symptoms could be due to the mobile elements. If initial deficiency symptoms of any essential mineral element is observed in the younger part, it is sure that it could be due to the deficiency symptom of immobile elements. So initially all the both the deficiency symptoms on the basis of mobility of the deficiency symptoms, uh, it's very easy to uh, observe that this plant is deficient due to the deficiency of mobile elements or immobile elements. So this is all about my today's lecture. We have gone through the complete classification of essential mineral elements, first on the basis of concentration, then on the basis of physiological roles and biochemical functions, and third on the basis of mobility in the plants. So after finishing this lecture, you must be able to identify whether this deficiency symptom is due to the mobile elements or immobile elements. And in my coming lectures, I will discuss in detail about their function, uptake, function, and deficiency symptom of specific essential mineral elements. Thank you very much.